When we talk about tenancies, we're going to really talk about this big pile of things that means nothing more than a percentage ownership of one piece of real estate. If a husband and wife own real estate, typically they will own it as joint tenants. All that means is there's no specific percentage that's been delineated out, so it's just assumed that joint tenants each own 50%. When the delineation becomes a specific percentage, whether it's 2 or 42 owners, it becomes tenants in common. And each tenant really owns a percentage of a piece of real estate that is a percentage of a larger piece of real estate. So if a husband and a wife own a house as joint tenants, what they own is 50% of a house. If 4 people each own 25% of $1 million piece of property, each one of those owners actually owns a piece of property that's worth $250,000. It just happens to be 25% of a bigger piece of property. Why is that important to remember? Because remember the reinvestment requirements? You must purchase at least as much as you sell. So when you're doing it as a tenant-in-common in that instance, you're not selling $1 million. So you don't have to purchase $1 million. You're selling 25% of that, or $250,000. That's your reinvestment requirement. Now, why do we like that? Because let's say that 4 of us all got together, we own $1 million piece of property, and we're ready to sell it and make a profit. We may decide that 3 of us still like each other. The 4th person wants to go their own way. The 3 of us could go together and sell 75% and do a 1031 exchange to go purchase $750,000 in real estate. The other person could sell their tenancy, the 25%, take the cash and pay the tax. It doesn't matter. And you can mix and match however you want. So from a pure tax avoidance perspective and flexibility perspective, in the 1031, Tenants-in-Common is the absolute best way to do it. There may be other considerations such as liability, protections, but that's a different discussion. But just know that when you are partnering up as Tenants-in-Common, you can choose to go ahead together. You can separate and do your own thing. You can come back together and combine. It doesn't matter, and it all works. So let the creative wheels start to turn, right? Now, we just want to mention divorce because it does happen, and many times it can happen right in the middle of 1031s, and there are very, very specific protections where if you will allow the divorce decrees to come into play, they will protect the 1031 exchange. Remember how we said you've got to know why someone is giving up title or taking title? Otherwise, the IRS will say that you're only doing that to facilitate a sale. If you have a divorce decree to fall back on, the IRS will agree that that does not jeopardize the 1031 exchange.